For the first time in more than 5.5 years, we finally have a few new answers to a question that has loomed over Indiana on the town of Delphi. Who killed Abby Williams and
the end of the bridge. You gotta go through. Now, I believe that the bodies were found out.
From a family's grief and determination. In April 2020, soldier Madison Mogen went missing while stationed at one of the largest military installations.
That little music in the background goes suspicious.
Right.
Knew about it, was there, as guilty as the person who committed.
Details in the arrest of a suspected serial killer before he could strike again.
They dropped the ball, man. They said he went AWOL. And a deserter. Nobody went to the.
Today is not a day to celebrate. But the arrest of Allen of Delphi, two counts of murder.
Like I said, we're going back last time to kind of talk about the grub truck video, perspective, the press release, police department that they're still trying to piece together from that back. Does that worry you at any point, at any bit? They're still trying to put those pieces together.
It's been over 5 weeks since little Kaylee Anthony vanished. Her mother, Casey, has been arrested for lying to police. She's being held without bail.
Hey, greetings from the year 3000. It still sucks. This is Philip J. Fry, and you're listening to The Drunken Turkey Show, your one stop for this sort of thing. Hit that button, like and subscribe. You know what to do, just like every other podcast.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Drunk Turkey Show. I'm your host, Daniel J. And alongside with me is Big Blue tonight. Big Blue, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good.
Awesome. I'm seeing in the live chat that people are saying there was some echo going on. Is that still happening? No, it's not. Good now. Awesome. Want to say thank you to everybody that is new into the chat. Welcome everybody that's new. Welcome back, everybody who has been a contributor to the show. And thank you, Amber Rice, for becoming a YouTube member. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you.
So, Big Blue, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing good. I'm doing okay, you know. I was looking forward to tonight. I was excited about being able to drink. And, you know, I got another curveball thrown at me, so I can't drink tonight.
If you don't mind sharing, what is that curveball?
I was at work yesterday, man, and I was like, man, my throat's on fire. You know, I was eating some Popeye's chicken. I was like, man, it's not the spicy chicken. I eat this all the time, so... when I started drinking water, and my throat was still on fire, so I clocked out early and got checked in, and I got strep throat.
Oh, geez, man, that's unfortunate. That is unfortunate, my man. Hope you feel better. Take some medication. Take what you need to take. You get healthy. And I'm glad you could be here tonight. No, Hyman won't be joining us tonight. He had some other arrangements that he had to take care of, but he will be back. So just to kind of give everybody a little bit of an update about what's going to be coming on to the show in the next couple of days, or what's going to be happening. First and foremost, tomorrow we'll be having our midday live. We're going to be going on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. We're going live during the day. Tomorrow we're going to have It's a Criming Shame. We're going to have Sonny Justice on the live, and we're going to be talking about the Nicola Bullock case. Apparently it's not as clear cut as it seems. You know, there's a lot of speculation going on and a lot of theories being thrown around. We're going to deep dive into those tomorrow, so you don't want to miss it. Like, subscribe, ring that notification bell. Tomorrow afternoon, we have a video that we are tomorrow evening, actually. We plan on debuting a video getting caught up on the Dylan Rounds case. There was someone just recently charged in his disappearance and charged for murder. And we're going to break down that case and kind of go through it and get everybody caught up. So for those that aren't familiar with the case, you guys can get caught up with us.
Yeah, it's an interesting case, man. I can't wait to dig into it. You know, there's some really crazy stories and allegations in that town about what happened.
Yeah, man. It definitely does seem like it. Um, it's crazy, man. It definitely is. And so you don't want to miss it. Again, like and subscribe. Also, guys, I put this out earlier in the community tab that we created a new channel. It's called Drunk Turkey Clips. In fact, I'll show it to you real quick. Right here. The link is in the description. We got about 20 subscribers already. Let me see. That was earlier. Let me see if it's changed. We have 30 subscribers, so that's jumped up 10 since I've checked that. So thank you guys so much for subscribing. If you guys don't mind going over to Drunk Turkey Clips, all that's going to be is going to be clips of the of our live shows that we do. Shorts and not shorts, but like pre-recorded videos will still be aired on this channel. Majority of everything will be aired on this channel. The only thing that will be aired on the Clips channel is just 10 to 15 minute segments of our lives, just to promote the channel. The description is in the description. I appreciate each and one of you guys for doing so.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, before we get into our main topic of today, which is this Bryan Kohberger. In the Bryan Kohberger case, is there a accomplice? Is there a confidential informant? More docs were leaked out, or not necessarily leaked out, but more docs were brought to life here recently in the last couple of days or yesterday, which also used the word confidential informant. We'll talk about that. But before we do, well, you know what? Let's get into that first. Let's go into that first, right, Blue?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, let's do it. So let me blow this up. So this is the state's motion in order to temporarily seal the stipulation and release property and release docs pending hearing. And we'll go through this document and we'll talk about it. So this is the state of Idaho versus Bryan Kohberger. The state of Idaho, by and through the Latah County prosecuting attorney, respectfully moves the court pursuant to Idaho Court Administrative Rule 32G1 and Idaho Code 74-124 for temporary order sealing the stipulation to release property. All related documents, including Exhibit A and B, and any other order filed herein, because release of disclosure would 1. Interfere with enforcement proceedings, 2. Deprive a person of a right to a fair trial, 3. Constitute an unwarranted invasion of personal property, and number 4. Disclose the identity of a confidential source and or disclose investigative techniques and procedures. Interesting. Wherefore, the state respectively prays to the court temporarily seal the public disclosure herein under the provisions of Idaho Court Administrative Rule 32G1 and Idaho Code 74124, pending hearing on the matter. So the state is really trying to keep things under wraps, right? And use a lot of words. Okay, I understand once or twice. We had Kevin Gringley and Anya Kane from Murder Sheet on the podcast. Kevin Gringley is an attorney, and he talked about what boilerplate is, which is basically a copy and paste of documents that would be universal, so to speak, in a certain criteria. I understand maybe one of those things happening in one document, but in multiple documents that comes forth, whether it's a confidential source, informant, it continues to come up. Like I said, one is maybe a mistake, 2 is a coincidence, 3 is a pattern here, and this is multiple times here. Big Blue, do you think that at this point somebody disclosed something by some means to point the finger and point the direction to Bryan Kohberger?
I don't think so. Yeah, because I just think what I read, the reason why they're trying to do all this is because they don't want us, the people on the internet, to blow it up out of proportion, and they're not going to be able to get a fair trial for when they call the jury summons. They're trying to get everybody to know the least they can about this case. So when they call them to do the judge the jury selection, it'd be a fair trial for them.
Well, it's going to be very difficult for Bryan Kohberger to have a fair trial anywhere in the United States. This case is huge. Now, are there people out there that aren't aware of this case? Probably so, but those folks are probably far away from Moscow, Idaho. You know, the closer you get to that direction, the more of this information is out there. You know, clearly the state is trying to hide this stuff. Perhaps they don't want to fuel some fire that could speculate there being some kind of reasonable doubt out there. But I'll tell you what, all this secrecy and all this hiding, and like, we still haven't even gotten the 911 tape. Like, that to me is insane, right? It's like, what are you hiding?
The 911 tape, and also, you know, I'm pretty sure when the officers showed up on scene, they had body cams. They haven't released no body cam footage of the scenes and everything. I mean, I know it's respect to the family, but in a lot of other cases, they show that stuff.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. In a lot of cases, they show a lot of these things, especially once and after a person has been arrested or charged. You know, I understand the secrecy and whatnot prior to an arrest, but once an arrest has been made, I mean, you can look at it in any high profile case. I mean, look at the one that's currently, I mean, it's not, the criminal charge that is Alec Baldwin. You know, this is an actor. He's being charged. We have, you know, 911 tapes. We have the interrogation. We have the, you know, the body cam footage from the incident. And in this case here, it's like the police department is trying to cover up as much as they possibly can. You know, is it that there's maybe perhaps a lack of evidence here, and they're still gathering information? You know, at this point, up to the point where the police arrested Kohberger, there were some things that weren't found, right? You know, you didn't have the search of his apartment complex. You hadn't had the search of the vehicle and the results of those things, the results of you know, the personal belongings that they took up, the book that's underlined, the whole 9 yards, right? Mm-hmm. And, you know, I would assume that there's some really hard concrete evidence there, especially in the car, for them to really, you know, make their case pretty concrete. The fact that they're trying to hide things and stuff kind of leads me to believe that maybe perhaps it's not as strong as we would like to hope. What do you think?
I don't know. I think they have quite a bit on them. The DNA is going to be pretty big on there. Because I was looking at reviewing another case, and they got, you know, the guy on charges without a body, you know what I mean? On the case that I was looking at, and it's just like a half-page sentence of what the judge had to sign off on to charge him, and he charged them. So this thing has like a paragraph of stuff. So, and I mean, a couple pages worth of stuff. So we'll see, man.
For sure. Thank you so much, Gail, for your $5 super chat. We appreciate you with your super sticker. Thank you so much. Yeah, you know, we had a comment in here saying that Fry had stated that the 911 tape would come out, right? And that it would come out, you know, fairly sooner than later, as far as, you know, after the arrest was made. Still has not come out. It just seems like, in my opinion, you know, you look at the Richard Allen case, and it seems like, you know, his attorneys that came out and said it was flimsy, it was weak, and that them wanting to seal that case up as tight as they had was an indication of how weak that case is, right? I mean, that's the illusion that the defense is coming out forward with Richard Allen. I can't help but feel the same in this case here. You know, that maybe it's not that strong. I understand that they want to, you know, maybe perhaps keep this there in Moscow and try to get a jury that's not going to be, you know, get a jury that's right for them, but that's going to be very difficult to do. I think that they probably needed to move it out of there. I mean, the city isn't very, very large at all. And so let's read this. This is the in-district court of Second Judicial District of the state of Idaho, and for the county of Latah, State of Idaho versus Bryan Kohberger, based upon the motion to seal the stipulation to release property and all related documents here filed here, then the court does hereby confirm that order, that stipulation to release property and all related documents include Exhibit A and B, and this order are confidential, exempt from disclosure, and are sealed pursuant to Idaho Court Administrative Rule. Reasons stated. And so this was motion until April 1st, 2023, whichever occurs first. And so for everybody that's just jumping in, they wanted to, the reason that they're going with this seal is, and thank you so much, Patty Riddle, for your $9.99 super chat. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Is right here that the reasons that they want to, the order is to be filed would be because they were trying to prevent interference with law enforcement proceedings, deprive a person of a right to a fair trial. You see, like, if that's the one and only thing, right? Deprive a person of fair trial, just put that in there, to put the other ones, you would assume that there would be something that would fall under there. So constitute an unwarranted invasion of personal privacy, disclose the identity of a confidential source, and or disclose investigative techniques and procedures. So more and more thoughts and questions coming forth, making me believe that perhaps there is something to there being an accomplice and or an informant. Blue, in your opinion, if there is one, would you think that it was either an accomplice or an informant?
I would say more like an informant. Maybe a witness that saw something, or maybe somebody drove with him. Remember, he drove out of his way, not on his way home. Maybe somebody went with him and waited in the car.
That's true.
And maybe he dropped somebody off. These are all theories that we have, but the more and more, they're trying to hide stuff, and the stuff he said himself. He said, did they arrest anybody else? Was anybody else arrested when he was arrested? So maybe.
Yeah. It to me, it's looking more and more in that direction. Just being honest, for me, there's been a lot of people that have, a lot of rumors that have come forward that perhaps it wasn't Kohberger, or perhaps that he was just a getaway guy. And one reason being that he didn't have any scratches. There's been nobody that's come forward to say that he's had any injury to his arms, his hands, his neck, his face. We can pull up pictures of people that have had that, that have committed a heinous crime like this up close. And, there's humongous amounts of scratches, cuts on the neck, things like that. And to me, it's just, it doesn't make any sense for it at this point. Not to make sense. I'm sorry about that. I'm reading something. For me, it doesn't make sense that he would go in there, commit this crime against 4 people, 2 that are possibly alive, and come out without a scratch on his neck or face. What do you think?
Yeah, it's tough, but he was wearing a long sleeve, I believe. Didn't say he was wearing a long black shirt, so that would prevent scratches. The mask, that would help in case he, would have got punched in the face. You wouldn't see it right away, but you would have seen it a couple of days later. You always see the bruising on the face or the bruising around the eyes. They take a while to go away. So and nobody in class said anything. The doctor didn't say that he saw anything. So I'm pretty sure we would have already seen evidence of that.
Yeah. No, yeah. There was a picture of him in that turtle suit to protect him, and his neck and his face were exposed, and so was his shoulders. And you just don't see anything that would make you think that he was in an altercation that severe. And he also went to the doctor. He also attended his class the very next day. He really didn't change his schedule up much after the incident. Now, one question that always, that I've brought up many times is that, you know, the initial spotting that we're aware of in the probable cause affidavit is that he was heading westbound at 3:26 a.m. at the 700 block of Indian Hills Drive. There is a house that has a ring camera in this area right here. I'm not sure if you guys can see it. And at 3:28, he's passing this intersection here. And what do you call it? That's a direct pass. At 3:29, he's at the resident's house being picked up on the ring camera. So he was coming from the east, traveling west, when if he was coming from his house, as it's been speculated, he would have been traveling eastbound from the west, if that makes any sense. And we have a $20 super chat. Didn't Inan wear a scarf to cover his neck in his interview? He may have. I need to go back and look at that. He may have.
I remember him wearing like a weird beanie hat, I think, and I remember the sticks behind him from the stick juggling that he does. I don't remember him wearing a scarf.
He may have, though. I'm gonna try to see if I can find that.
That was like in December, right? Like 4 months ago?
He did wear one. Wow, he was wearing one. Let's see. I have it right here. This is the interview here.
Yeah, but you can still see his neck.
Yeah, but it's hard to tell. You can't tell if there's anything here or there. There's nothing on his face.
Yeah.
But yeah, he did wear one. That's for sure. Interesting. Good pickup. Thank you so much for that, Moto Man MX, and thank you for your $20 super chat. We appreciate you. That's interesting. So Inan Arsh is a guy that as soon as he came out on his interview, he had his Reddit post, he had all those things that he was talking about. We looked at him pretty heavily. Do you think that this kind of guy would be, there was the question about Bryan Kohberger and him not making friends, right? Him being socially awkward, having his family have to try to make friends with him. Inan Arsh didn't seem like he was the most socially, opposite of socially awkward person. He seemed like he was also a guy that was a little quirky. And, do you think that perhaps two guys that are socially awkward could become friends? And I mean, his guy is a lengthy record as well of robbery, burglary, and drug use. And, I don't know. What do you think, Blue?
I mean, there's always a possibility in this world that they've met and they've know each other, but I'm not accusing anybody because there's no proof right now of it. So that's just hearsay right now.
Right, exactly. But there's been some interesting stuff that has happened or occurred since. Let's I'm gonna pull this up real quick, Blue. It's gonna be a video that does have sound, so we'll have echo. But let's watch this.
I was like, no, this is not happening to me. This is not happening to me.
Tonight, a WSU PhD student who reported an attempted kidnapping last month is now sharing her account of what happened.
She spoke exclusively with KREM 2's Amanda Rowley, who has been following this story since Pullman police first alerted the community of what happened. Amanda is joining us now with those horrifying details.
The night of February 3rd was one of the scariest moments of Daniela Padilla's life. She says a man she didn't know tried to force himself inside her apartment. She's grateful to be okay and wants to share her story so this doesn't happen to someone else.
Daniela Padilla moved into her Pullman apartment in August, excited to kick off the upcoming school year at Washington State University. The PhD student from Chile is studying molecular biosciences. One night on her way home from the gym, she says she noticed something unusual. A faded black car parked outside her apartment with the engine running and the trunk left open.
But I didn't think much of it. I just kept walking.
Daniela opened her apartment door, and then out of nowhere, she says a man appeared behind her and tried forcing his way inside.
As soon as I saw him, I like pushed my weight on the door and he was grabbing the knob, right? And he kept ringing the bell, forcing the door. So like the door was moving hard.
She's convinced he was trying to kidnap her because of his behavior and the suspicious car parked outside.
It was like he's there to get something and go as soon as he can.
A few days after reporting this to Pullman police, Daniela posted what happened on Facebook as a warning to the Pullman community, hoping no one else would feel the same fear.
I was like, no, this is not happening to me. This is not happening to me. And I was really scared that I was gonna like die.
Now, a month later, Pullman Police Commander Aaron Brashear says they've followed up on numerous tips that did not pan out. And so far, investigators have not found any evidence to corroborate Daniela's story.
Maybe he could have been, under the influence of something.
Daniela is still uneasy about that night. She has no plans on returning to Pullman and is hoping to pursue her PhD elsewhere.
So she was so terrified that she left. Somebody forcibly tried to come into her house. She said she saw a car with the trunk open. So basically thinking that it was a potential kidnapping type of situation. Man, WSU student in Pullman area. It's continuing to happen. And this isn't the only one. I mean, and this comes from Mitchie Gal 29. In October of 2021, a WSU female student woke up with a man over her with a knife wearing a mask. He was never caught. This is absolutely true. I also saw that as well. And so, there's some craziness that are still continuing to go on in this town. It's insane, man. It's insane. The things that are going on right now. One last thing that I want to talk before we open up the phone lines. And by the way, guys, pay attention because we have a new phone number for the phone lines. So stay tuned for that. But one thing I wanted to look up real quick and kind of get your opinions on was basically how Kohberger was found when he was arrested. So there was some breaking news that when the technical team bursted into Kohberger's residence, that he was he had his gloves on, stuffing his trash into Ziploc baggies, and basically splitting them apart with a flashlight. I guess that's why they had the flashlight on his person and the 4 gloves. We were trying to figure out why would he have those things on his person, right? Well, I guess we figured out why. He was creeping around his mom and dad's house late at night, getting trash out, putting it in Ziploc bags. Do you guys think that that's something that, or do you think, Blue, that that's something nefarious? That's something like he's trying to keep his DNA out of something? Or do you think that's more on the lines of like an OCD type of symptom?
I think it's something nefarious, because if it was something OCD, he would do it before he put it in the trash.
That's true. That is true, Big Blue. Way to come in clutch on that.
Yeah, because OCD people don't like messing with trash.
Right.
It's so messy and sticky, and I'm not OCD, but it's the truth.
Yeah. So you think, all right, so if he's taking out his DNA from the trash, right? Let's just say or he's trying to hide something. Where that's a weird way of doing it. But I mean, I guess, the police were stumped as to why they couldn't find his DNA in the trash. I guess they figured it out at that moment, that it was due to the fact that he was taking it out and then putting it individually into the trash can. That's crazy, man. That's just so crazy for me to
okay, maybe it was one thing, like, like my kids, they leave stuff around, and when it's trash day, I just go around with a trash can when I'm trying to fill up the trash bag and pick up whatever is trash. You know what I mean? Like, they leave a half empty bottle of water, maybe an open bag of candy or chips by their desk and stuff. So maybe he had that stuff out, and his mom and dad cleaned the house before trash day, and it's like, hey, they threw away my stuff and they can get my DNA from it.
Right.
So
Becky
trying not to be
says,
suspicious.
Right. Definitely OCD. Same reason he was cooking pans, never touched meat. That could be. One thing that I had noticed about his hands is, do they look red to you, Blue?
They look pretty. Yeah, I mean that's like normal for a lot of people, especially in cuffs. You're putting them together, but his nails are kind of weird. Like he bites them.
Well, I'm sure he's nervous. He has a lot of time on his hand. He's not doing a lot where he's at right now. You know what I mean? And so, gosh, I thought they looked a little red, like he was constantly washing them. Like he's a guy that would be constantly washing his hands. These look like wintry hands, just dry and irritated. Okay. I just thought maybe perhaps there were a situation where he was a guy that washed his hands quite a bit.
I wash my hands like a lot at work, and mine ain't red. But maybe because I'm in the sun all the time too. So
Yeah.
Brownish red.
Got you. So we're going to be opening up the phone lines. We got a new phone number for everybody. We're trying to do something so that way we can hear Blue and Blue can hear you guys. It ended up not working, but we got the number anyways. And so give me 1 second. I have my computer's going haywire right now. 1 second.
So there's quite a bit of you in the live chat today. Hi everybody.
Yeah, 1,100 of you guys. If you guys do us a favor and hit that like button, we'd appreciate that. So I'm gonna put the phone number into the chat real quick, and I'm gonna pin it.
I think one of the main things is gonna be like in the Murdaugh case. Everybody said when he took the stand, it was his downfall. I'm saying I want to think he's gonna take the stand, and that's when his downfall. He seems like he's gonna be pretty talkative. I don't know. We'll see.
No, I hear you, Blue. I hear you. Let me see. Give me 1 second. I got a lot of things going on my computer at the same time. All right. So the phone number is 726-842-0812. It's a new phone number. The lines are live. I'm going to try something real quick. Blue, do I sound like echoed or anything right now?
Not right now, no.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure I unmuted it. Hey, earlier I had this up and unmuted, and everybody was complaining about an echo, so I wanted to make sure. So we have our first in. Do you hear it, Blue?
I hear it.
Call from
MMA Timlin.
Hey, it's Daniel with the Drunk Turkey Show. You're live on air. Unfortunately, Blue, you won't be able to hear Blue still, but we'll be able to hear you. Who are we speaking with?
You're speaking with MMA Timlin.
How's it going, buddy?
It's going pretty good. We talking live or what's going on right now?
Yes, sir. You're live on the air.
Yeah. Hey, I got a lot of questions about that CI stuff, and it just the whole case just it kind of messed my head. Somebody got going to a house, got 4 people. I do a lot of MMA fights. I just kind of hard for me to see a guy walking in there and executing 4 people in 30 minutes. It's just there's got to be a plan route. And I watched this case from day one.
Yeah.
And I thought Iron Harsh, that was the first guy, and just he has no sympathy. He doesn't care about what happened to the victims. I saw his Facebook, and if it was my neighbors, I'd be wanting to look for the guy, but he doesn't really care. They were murdered, and he doesn't want to help try to find it. It's like he laughed, he mocked, and so there's a lot of stuff, about that man, and I've looked at his Facebook. He's not on. He's just somewhere, and I messaged him a couple of times. He didn't message back, and it just the whole works, But
so
I don't know if I'm on right now.
Yeah. You're live on the air. So with In and Harsh, do you think he was an accomplice, or do you think he was the informant?
You know, I think he's a CI because I've looked him up. You know, I can't see his jail records. You know, I just want to, you know, I got family law enforcement. You know, and
Right.
I know a lot about cases out here, detectives. You know, a couple of the sponsors like Mike Stedham, he's an ex-cop, and you know, I know how informants work, and they work off charges. And so when I looked at his jail roster, you know, and he's got all those charges, but it's like he worked some of them charges off. To be charged with aggravated assault or aggravated robbery, what he did, you know. And when I looked him up on mugshots, he's not there. I've also called Pullman Police, you know, and so there's no mugshot of that guy. So there's something weird about him being a CI. And it's like he's mocking the whole situation because criminal CIs, they like to work up their charges. They like to play games, and they're not really trustful with law enforcement. And, you know, it's just his whole story. It doesn't make sense, you know. It's like he changes it, you know, the whole thing and what happened out that night, you know. Like I heard one thing with they're all trying to name it at BK, Bryan Kohberger, but there's this one little video that you can hear him arguing. So he's saying, "This is in a stash house," and then quickly someone goes, "Go get him," and then you can hear someone getting stabbed. Well, he says, "Oh, I've been stabbed," and then he just basically you know, you hear this, and it's just, you got to really hear the audio and stuff. And so that's what kind of makes me not believe BK did it, you know, because, you know, there's a lot of other people there. There was like 3 males that I heard, because at first it goes, "Man, I'm old school. This stuff is weird." And that's when the whole thing just happened. But I think what it is Dylan Mortenson doesn't want to say much because he was like shocked that they actually went out and carried this execution out. Right. And so, you know, Dylan wants to be quiet about it. And, you know, it's just this is a whole weird thing, you know. And from the time where his car is and everything, it sounded like he was just there in the area, but these people had their phones off. But see, Ina Hard, she does gaming and stuff. And, you know, gaming, you can connect with people on headphones. And, you know, it's untraceable. You know, and the way these guys did it, it's like they left their phones at a certain place. And, you know, Bryan Kohberger, he had his phone on. He wasn't trying to hide nothing, but, you know, and you look at how shocked he is too, you know, like, "Oh, that's not me," you know. And so there's something else. It's like they named him off, you know. So it's really interesting to find out what happens June 26th.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be very interesting to figure out what's going on. You know, the more that this case continues to bring out paperwork that says, you know, terms like confidential source, informant, you know, co-defendant, things of that nature, makes me believe that there's somebody else involved. Thank you so much for calling in, man. Me and Blue are going to talk about your comments and go forward from there. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man.
You bet.
All right. Yeah.
All right. See you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good caller. Enan Harsh. Yeah, he's a guy that a lot of folks have looked into. They thought that he seemed a little bit suspicious, but as one guy brought it up in the live chat, a criminal informant may be instructed not to talk to the media. He kind of went to the media pretty early, but who's to say at that point he was the informant? He may have been an informant afterwards. He hasn't come out to the media in a long time. What do you think, Blue?
I mean, that could be. I would have thought the same thing if he was an informant. They would try to, you know, hide him right away, so that way nobody can. Because once they tell their story to the media and everybody, then they can't be counted as credible.
Right.
You know.
And publicly Buzz comes in saying he's disappeared for months now.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to turn the do not disturb off so the phone lines are open again. You may call. But yeah, no, I agree with you, Blue. I agree with you. But it's definitely, it's a curious situation, you know, or story that he has, and the words that he used. Like, for instance, I think he used the term sloppy, which was also described as the scene. He talked about, you know, his behavior changing at work, like that he was crying after the fact and that he had to be consoled at work. Things like that. We have another caller coming in.
Call from
Deandra.
Hello, you're on the Drunk Turkey Show.
Oh, wow. Sorry, I didn't think you guys were going to actually answer.
No problem. You're talking to
Um,
Daniel. How's it going?
Good. So, I like that you guys are talking about Harsh because I've been watching like from day one all the weird groups, anywhere from the psychologist to this crazy people talking, and with the whole Enon Harsh, 100% believe that him and BK were like together like with drugs, so like H or something like that. And I believe that Harsh did not participate in everything, but he like was the watcher. So he like was the spotter, probably went from the food truck. Y'all probably are annoyed with how many times I've posted that in every chat. But I definitely think he was watching. I think BK, as meticulous as he is, as cocky as he is, planned it and was already in the house. So I believe the car was seen because somebody else was driving it, and that it was more than a 9-minute period if they're solely going off of the footage of the car, if somebody else was involved.
Right. And I had often said, like, this weekend that this incident occurred, this was the last football game for the Vandals there at the University of Idaho. So they were partying it up. It was expected to be a party weekend. WSU had Parents Weekend. And so they had a large amount of people in both of those towns. And, this was an area that was supposed to have been a party area. And a lot of people have come forward saying that it was very quiet that night. And my question was, how did Bryan know it was so quiet? Unless somebody told him.
I feel like they were surveillancing it. I don't think it was like the one person. And it's weird because I mentioned this a while ago, and I'm only going to mention it once. But if you guys go into that song I had mentioned, the Pullman Washington song.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you go through the entire album, I've listened to it from start to finish, read every lyric. The whole album is like an incel album. It's like about guys that can't get girls, so they kill them. One song is literally named after a guy who killed his wife, a real life story. They're all about like this, oh, she doesn't like me, I'm going to creep in through her window. And super weird. The dates are the same on the murder, so that's just like a weird coincidence. But if you read the whole album, incel, like it's very creepy. But yeah, I definitely think that BK lined his car. Like, I think he was trying to be like Dexter. Like, I feel like he's cocky enough to feel like, oh, I can get away with this. Like, this is my last hurrah. One of them was gonna move. That he took a chance to like shoot his shot and got sloppy, I think.
Right. Makes sense. Makes sense. 1 second. I'm just we have some complaints about the live chat being a little bit too fast, so I'm just going to slow it down real quick.
But yeah, no, I definitely think that he was not the only person. I think the neighbor's really creepy, and I think a lot of times when people are trying to hide, they hide in plain sight.
Right.
And the loudest person in the room sometimes is trying to hide the most, I guess. So even though if he did not do it, if there's just like some creepy dude that meticulously planned this, I still think that it was just too coincidental to, even if he wasn't involved, I bet you he was like his dealer, some weird, just very weird thing. So it's just like my 2 cents.
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a lot of weirdness in this case. There definitely is, and it makes you think that definitely more than one person was involved.
Yeah.
Like the previous. Go ahead.
Sorry, I did see one debate that was in one of the Idaho groups, the one that Papa Roger was in, and someone was talking about Enon, and he had said that it could be possible that he was involved and then got upset and like freaked out a bit and then decided to plant the sheath that he had known that BK had touched because he was already next door, he was already there. So that was one theory I heard. I don't know if it's, I don't think it's like the truth, but I thought it was an interesting perspective of like, what if Bryan really didn't know it was there because, somebody was like, oh crap, we're going to get caught.
Right.
And then, might as well pin it on the other dude.
Right. Makes sense. Would make sense. Definitely does. Thank you so much for your call and your questions and your comments. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank
Have
you.
a good night.
Great caller. Great caller. What do you think, Blue?
I don't know, man. Like, if he was an accomplice and stuff, the cops would have vetted him. The cops would have gone through all his.
Well, if he's an informant, criminals are informants. They come up with a lot of the best intel because they have it. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so I would think so. If it was an accomplice, I think he would be in jail. So in my opinion, it has to be more or less probably, unless it was somebody who was just the driver or made a phone call and said, there's nobody there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Somebody that didn't take part, didn't walk into that building, into that house. I'm going to take the do not disturb off. It is off. Calls can now come in.
I think one reason why we don't hear much of him because a lot of people, like you said, are accusing him of being an accomplice and stuff like that. And he got a lot of negative flag from his Reddit post. So I think he wants to be out of the spotlight.
Yeah, maybe. That's maybe. I mean, he did create a channel though. Enan Harsh. We have.
Call from
Dave.
Live on the air. Who are we talking to? Hello?
Hey,
how's it going?
Hello?
Yeah,
is this Luke?
This is Daniel. How's it going?
Oh, okay. Hey, what's up, man?
Not much, man. You're live on the air. Who are we talking
cool.
to?
Hey, I'm autistic and I'm a little bit nervous, but I want to point something out. We keep talking about, Enan Harsh or whatever his name is, and Kohberger, and that your first caller was talking about how he's an MMA fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, out of all of the known suspects in this, just so everybody's clear on this, Kopaka was trained to do this kind of stuff.
That's true. That is true. He was a pararescuer, airborne.
Was he pararescue? Because if he was pararescue, that's Air Force Special Forces.
It was Army. I apologize, but he.
Okay,
I know he was
it wasn't pararescue then.
Yeah, he was airborne though.
Okay.
According to, let me rephrase this. According to Crime Circus, I haven't dug deep into him, but I watched
right.
I watched
I
the video from Crime Circus, and they talked.
I haven't found much information about him either, but some of those guys, especially Special Forces, knowingly throughout history have gone into buildings, killed people, left people alive, and walked out.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
and I think he's out of everybody. Enan Harsh, Kohberger. I mean, we can talk about those guys all day, but there's only one person that we can talk about that was literally trained to do that.
Yeah, and he's also a guy that, according to everything that we know, was, threatening his roommates to take their life before his life was taken.
Where are these roommates? Where are all of the interviews with people around that would have been in that neighborhood for the first 6 hours before they gave an alert? Not one interview with these neighbors, not one interview with the roommates that he was threatening to kill.
That's true.
Good point.
That is a good point.
So there was a 6-hour standoff in a residential neighborhood, and nobody filmed any of it.
That's very true. That's very true. You bring up a lot of great points. You bring up a lot of great points when it comes to Kopaka.
I'm gonna let you go, but let me point out one more thing to everybody. Okay, everybody's talking about a confidential informant. There is a good chance
that Kopaka could have been that confidential informant, and he's not dead.
Maybe. I mean, witness protection and,
Yeah, but it's not even about witness protection, because witness protection is for like a bigger area. You're not going to put someone in witness protection like in like a small area like Idaho or Washington. You're going to literally make them disappear. The problem with witness protection is that if you listen to like old mafia people that are in witness protection, they still can find out where those people are. You make somebody disappear, and that person is not a problem until they're needed.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thank you so much for calling. We're going to talk about this. We're going to put the do not disturb on, and we're going to conversate a little bit about your call. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
All right. Thanks, man.
Thank you. He makes a lot of valid points there, Big Blue. What are your first thoughts about what he was saying as far as Kopaka and the fact that there's not much coming out of that situation that occurred that took his life? Oh wow, Blue, it's the Daniel J show now. Give me a second. Thank you so much, Moto Man MX, for your $5 super chat. Is it possible something found in Kopaka that points to Bryan? That is very possible. There was one thing that I had done. I had asked Kevin Greenlee. So there was a document, and I don't have it on me, but that document referred to a co-defendant, confidential source, and that if the prosecution didn't plan on using this informant, that they didn't have to disclose who that informant was. And in that conversation with Kevin Greenleaf, I asked him, I said, hey, would the terminology be in that manner if the informant is deceased? And he said, yeah, that would absolutely be one of the reasons why the terminology be that direction. You also have the fact that, let's look up the map real quick. Let me pull it up here. All righty. So in the morning, at 2:44 a.m. To about 2:50 something, I believe, Bryan Kohberger was seen, or the white Elantra was seen in this area, right? And it was parked there for quite a bit of while. Over here is where Kopaka was living at. It's not very far at all. In fact, let's measure that up real quick. We'll do it by feet. I believe it's this apartment complex. It's 777 feet to where Kohberger was parked and seen parked at, or not seen parked, but seen here 2 different times, 9 minutes apart. Had he gone somewhere parked out of the view of what I'm assuming is these lights here. Let's see. Let's put this into perspective. So I'm assuming he parked, there's lights here at this, cameras here at this light section. So I'm assuming he was probably somewhere down that direction over there where it said he was traveling northbound in. And so he was down here. Whoa, my map turned around on me. He was down here, then yeah, Kopaka's right there. It's crazy, but I think that there's a possibility that he said something. I think there's a possibility that when SWAT team went in there, and as the last super chat came through, is maybe perhaps when they were there on December, what was it, like the 13th, I think it was, perhaps they found something in his apartment that linked Bryan Kohberger to this. It's very plausible. It is definitely a rabbit hole, but the caller mentioned a few things. There's no witnesses. There's no video of the standoff. There's no The roommates haven't come forward to talk about what had occurred. Nobody even knows who the roommates are that were involved in this. And when I brought up witness protection, it wasn't so much that I thought that this would be a witness protection situation, but that in witness protection, having the rest of the world think that you've passed is not uncommon, so to speak. Great call. Appreciate it so much. Let's open up those phone lines again. I'm going to turn off the do not disturb. So phone lines are open. Let's see. I'm going to go through some of the comments as well while these calls are waiting to come in. Do not disturb is off. So the phone number is pinned at the in the comment section. And real quick, while I have you guys, we're looking at 73% of people believe that that are in here that there is an accomplice and or an informant. No calls yet. Just want to make sure this is running right. Comes 156.
Call from
Anna Maria.
Welcome to the Drunk Turkey Show. You're live on air. Who are we speaking with?
Hi, Daniel and Blue. It's Anna Maria.
How's it going, Anna? Nice to meet you.
Same here. I wanted to say I love you guys. You're one of the shows that I've been following with the Idaho 4. There's a couple that I follow. And initially when this happened, I always doubted one person could even do this. It just seemed to me a lot for one person to kill 4 people in such a way, like many people felt. And that's what led me down to the road, which you were talking about, Brent Kupaka. He's a Purple Heart Ranger. So in my mind, I don't want to think that he was involved in the killing, but perhaps that, like the gentleman said, was he working undercover? Because I do believe very strongly that this is a drug trafficking situation, whether police are involved because they're skimming money out of it. That's also a very real thing that could be happening. And that's why, there's a lot that could be opened up from this case, and a lot of people could take a fall for a lot of things going on. But the drug trafficking in that area with a lot of those LLCs that are prime areas in the universities, prime targets, college students. I think Enon Harsh is involved. I think he helps with getting drugs. I don't know if he's a trafficker himself, but I think it goes even above them. And I don't know if you saw recently through Crime Circus, Brent Kupaka's eye. I'm sure you've probably seen it.
I have.
Where they're showing, now whether this was doctored or not, who doctored it. And if it was Brent that did it, did he do it for a reason? I see you, and it shows to me very close to being on that house in that particular area. From the very beginning, they said that area from Uber drivers is known for drugs. You got Enon Harsh, who lived there. He had an apartment at Washington University. And what other better place does he go now is to San Francisco, which is sort of where the corridor of where a lot of these drugs may be coming in to our country.
Right.
You never can find the names of the people that own the LLCs that have these properties. Never can find, like I try to look, you can't get a name. Like, who are these LLCs? Who are the people that own these properties? And that girl that you just had on too that I heard, who left Washington State University, that's like even human trafficking now. And what prime thing? You got beautiful, smart college girls, probably a lot of money for that. So where do you go? You go to look in universities and colleges. Now, of course, with Maddie and Kaylee, obviously they weren't, or Xana, they weren't going to be human trafficked. but I think it's true that they may have known something. And that whole Adam thing, maybe that's something that they were going to get in trouble for. Apparently, Maddie and Dylan had a fallout. Again, it's all hearsay, but a couple of weeks before the murder, maybe they found out what was going on at times where they weren't at the house. Maybe they were doing some selling of drugs. And she said, this is it, and maybe they were going to go. Maybe the sorority, too. You got that sorority that's been known to have problems with drugs now. People have been kicked out. There's been talk that the girls either left or were kicked out of the sorority. And it would make sense to me if Maddie caught on to this, that maybe she just said, I'm not going to be part of the sorority anymore, because she knew something was going down. And you always hear about drug trafficking, that when they're going to murder someone and send a message, it's usually personal and enough to send a message. And the other thing real quick about Enon Harsh, he lied on that interview because you can see him at the grub truck. He was at the grub truck the same night the girls were there. He was there before they were there. You can see him in his poncho. He's got the glasses. So when you're getting interviewed, why wouldn't you be honest and say, I was at the grub truck that night. Then after the grub truck, I went home. Why did he totally not even go there and made it sound like he just was BSing with the friends where he worked and happened to come home around 2 o'clock? Like, to me, like, that was a little suspicious too. And there's also Slowwerther. Like, you don't see him now. Like, you don't see him or the girls. Like, they're like off the radar.
Right.
But if he did have something Slowwerther to do with it, there's a gentleman at the grub truck that comes in shortly after the girls. He's by himself. He's short-statured, dark. Kind of fits the description of that girl that you saw from Washington University that said it was a short guy, stocky, green sweatshirt, Asian or Hispanic. He fits that totally. And he's by himself. And there's talk whether him or Slowwerther are texting each other, but he definitely fits a suspicious something that you would be by yourself. And also who's at the grub truck that night, which no one talks about, is Ethan's brother, Hunter. Hunter's there too. Hunter's there with a couple other girls. And one of the girls came up and hugged Kaylee. But, here's the guy now. I'm looking at the grub truck. He's right in the front here. He's ordering something. That's the gentleman that kind of fits the description of that girl from Washington State. And the weird part, he's by himself. He doesn't talk to anyone. And there's parts where he kind of sits back. And it's just weird because mostly everybody's with somebody chatting, and he's kind of just off on his own. You might see Ethan's brother off on the right here, too. The girl with the Idaho sweatshirt that I'm looking at now, he's with that crew. She's the girl that went up and hugged Kaylee. And what I thought was kind of weird is you don't see any interaction between Hunter and the girls, and they know each other. It's Ethan's brother.
Right.
And no one even talks about that. I don't even know if you guys know that he's there. But he's there. Ethan's brother, Hunter.
I wasn't aware that Hunter was at the grub truck video. That's good
I'm
news
sorry,
there.
Enon?
Enon
Yeah, he is.
Harsh?
Yeah,
he's
in the poncho.
Yeah, we've looked at that. I'm not sure if that's him. I mean, we've looked at it. It looks like a younger guy to me, but it could be.
Trust me, I am so good with visuals with people. That's something I'm really good at.
Right.
And it's him. It's got the poncho. He's got the glasses. And like I said, that's kind of odd. Why wouldn't you say, yeah, I went to the grub truck like many people do? Like he just doesn't even go there.
Right.
Doesn't even go there. So to me, that's like a red flag. He's showing himself in San Francisco with a lot of money. Like, how does someone that's a chef, fireball, whatever, twirler, how do you make that kind of money? how do you have 2 apartments? He lives out of his car. He's like the perfect person that would be a drug trafficker because he lives on the streets, kind of like just fits in. There he is there. That's him. That is Enon. I am sure of it. You got him right there. That's him. Now, again, that's the night. There you go. There's the girl. So and there's a woman with him in the back. It looks like she may be with him, the woman that's in the back there, because she kind of with him. But honestly, like, to me, that's suspicion there. Now, it goes back to Bryan. Now, granted, he does fit the creeper. He's kind of arrogant towards women. I get all that. So that could put him as the murderer. It's not like he's just, like, not on the radar.
Right.
However, I just don't see him doing this himself. I don't.
Right.
I think there's more play. There you go. There's Hunter. Hunter, I don't know if you just saw him.
This guy right
He's
here?
next to the girl. The girl with the Idaho, that's Hunter right next to her.
He's
I don't know
pretty
if
tall.
you'll see him again. Yeah, he's tall. Ethan's taller than him, but that's Hunter.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I don't know. Either that or if it was Bryan, I don't think he was by himself. But I also started wondering if these things from his teenage years are true, that he wrote how he felt about himself and how he struggled. The only reason why I think it would be him is he got to the point where maybe he felt like he didn't care what was going to happen to him.
Right.
Whatever will happen will happen. Cards will fall where they may. And I mean, not that I think he would kill himself, but maybe if he got caught, it was just like this was going to be his thing. And that's the other thing why I think he might like Brent Kopaka, because Brent was everything that Bryan wanted to be. Remember when he was heavy, they said he wanted to be a ranger. Well, Brent was a ranger. So somehow you wonder if their paths cross. But the part that I guess I don't want to believe is that Brent would be involved in killing girls like that. I see him more as someone, because of this background, might be undercover, and watching that area because it's known for drugs. And if there's a lot of human or drug trafficking coming into that area, you're going to have FBI there. You're going to have people hopefully undercover trying to figure out what's going on and to make those, busts or whatever you want to call them. But I just think it's going to be linked somehow to drugs. I could be wrong. I don't think he felt jilted by the girls, and because of that, he's going to go and kill them. And then if he did, Xana and Ethan were just unfortunately at the wrong place at the wrong time. I think the DoorDash is going to be a big part of this, because if Xana answered the door or if no one answered the door and that was left there, that's going to give you a lot of information on what time possibly the murders happened. But I think Ethan and Xana unfortunately heard something, or maybe they just went out to the kitchen and ran into whoever, if it was one or two or more. They saw them, and I think it was unfortunate, but I think it was because of, they just happened to see the killers.
Right.
And the other thing is the Bethany thing. You don't have any statement from her. Really, nothing. Dylan is the one they're putting out all this.
Yeah.
And the thing that kind of makes me implement the girls, or at least Dylan, whether Bethany was there, I'm not sure, is the next day for that to go till 12 o'clock. That just blows me out of the water. Like, that's the one that makes me start bringing the girls or Dylan into it, because I don't know how that you go like that till 12 o'clock. That just doesn't make any sense to me. And if it was that violent of a battle, which I guess we're going to find out, because if there's a lot of blood in that kitchen, then there's no way if Dylan was in that bedroom, she didn't hear that this was serious, what was going on. And if it was, even if you're in shock, if she made calls to other people, that's not that much of being in shock. You
Right.
can call 911 if you can call a friend.
No,
And
100%.
yeah, and that's what makes me think, Daniel, is there's something not right there. Whether the girls are terrified now, I don't know. Whether Dylan's boyfriend is a drug trafficker, there's a lot of drugs in that area. I remember Dr. Thrifty, he
Right.
showed a list. I mean, it was like several pages of all the people that were arrested for drugs in that area. It was crazy.
Yeah, no,
Crazy.
it sure was. And you know, that's one of the things that has come out a lot is that there's been drugs in this area. It's been speculated. We're gonna go over your comments for a little bit, and I want to thank you so much for calling us in. And you've had a lot of great insight.
Thank you so much. Keep doing what you're doing, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Great caller, great caller. She had a lot of insight. She thinks that Ian Harsh may have been partially, possibly involved. Brent Kopaka, has some training. Is something that Bryan Kohberger was, maybe perhaps, intrigued by. Blue, do you think, and we'll answer this question right here, this $5 super chat from Alyssa Anson asking, is there any link between Brent and the victims? I don't think so. I don't think that there's been any link so far.
I don't think so either.
Kelly Hardy comes in with a $2 super sticker. Thank you so much. We appreciate you guys. And thank you, callers. Thanks for coming back, Blue. A little bit of technical difficulty, I assume. You there?
Yeah, my internet's down, so I'm on my phone.
Oh, got you.
Yeah. I said my internet's down, so I'm on my phone.
Oh, man, that's weird, man. It's so much.
I had to jump on
what's that,
the
Blue?
feds, man. They're always messing with me. But
dude, they are, man. They definitely
it's the feds. They're always trying to mess with me. But
they're trying to get you, bro. They're trying to get you. Let's turn on. We're turning back on.
Everything's down.
Yeah, we turned we have the phones back on. Let's hear another one. But good callers. There's a lot of folks are still thinking that there's an accomplice or if not an accomplice, an informant or sources. There just seems to be a lot more to this case than meets the eye, so to speak. We were looking at the grub truck video while that was going on. Let's see. Oh, we got a new call. Real quick.
Call from
John.
Welcome to the Turkey Show. You're live on here. Who are we talking to?
John.
Hey, John. How's it going?
It's going okay. I was listening to you for a little bit. I heard a previous caller was mentioning about Brent.
Right.
The Brent Kopaka thing, if it possibly was like a fake killing or however, and he's in witness protection.
Uh-huh.
Wouldn't that mean that this is a lot bigger than Bryan? Like, he's obviously, it's a one guy thing. I mean, they couldn't put somebody in witness protection for a guy who did a one-off crime, could they?
If it's a one-off crime, probably not. Then it's probably not a witness protection situation, and the guy is taken. And I wouldn't. I'm not saying that that's the case myself, but that's been a theory of a lot of people that he's still alive. I don't think that's the case myself. I think he's passed on. Now, did they find something that pointed the finger towards Bryan Kohberger in his apartment, or was he talking to authorities prior to? There's a possibility there.
Yeah. I had another question regarding a lot of people, speculating about why Dylan didn't call, or why Dylan didn't call 911 readily, quickly right afterwards. Well, like, Bryan obviously wanted to be a police officer and whatnot. What if he was wearing something that suggested to her that he was a police officer? Not necessarily a full-out police thing, but just something she would think that a police officer would wear from, like, what she would see on a movie. And thus, if she called police, he might be somebody who's returned.
Gotcha.
Kind of thing. And that would be the last person maybe she would want to call.
Right. Maybe. I mean, it's possible. The description on the probable cause affidavit was that he was wearing dark clothing. I think that would be in there. That there would but then again, maybe not. That wouldn't be needed for the probable cause affidavit. It's quite possible that maybe she looked out and thought that was an officer.
And like she wanted somebody else around her, like when the cops were going to come, so that kind of protection in numbers kind of thing.
Right.
It was just a thought. I'm not 100% positive. And this is again another possibility, but if there were drugs in that house and there were like enough for her to be worried about kind of thing, wouldn't if they were in one of the victims' rooms and she did not want to go in there to get that?
Maybe. I mean,
she wanted someone else to do that.
That's a possibility. I mean, if somebody were to believe that a college sorority house that frequently has parties where it's gotten upwards to about 150 people at the party and not think that there are party favors, drugs of some sort in that house or that have traveled through that house, would be naive. We've seen how they acted when it came to the 911 tapes, just for alcohol, as far as the students go. They were afraid of the police. And, I wouldn't have been surprised if there was some sort of narcotics in there that prevented them, or at least made them think to prevent them from contacting the authorities right away.
Yeah, but like it wouldn't take 8 hours or 6 hours for her to get rid of them if they were like in her room or somewhere that was away from the crime scene where she might not be as worried to, dispose of them herself or get rid of them herself kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
That was the only thought. Like, I mean, obviously, if there's a little bit and she can take care of it, she probably would have done that along, quickly, as opposed to waiting if she knew what was going on, kind of.
Right. No, yeah, for sure, 100%, 100%. Yeah, thank you so much for giving us a call. Me and Blue are going to talk about your comments. Do you have anything else?
No, that was it. I just wanted to run those by you, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much. You have a good night.
Thank you for calling in.
We have a $5 super sticker from Cynthia Gaines. Thank you so much. Yeah, so he makes up a good valid point. I personally don't think that Kopacka is alive anymore. I don't think that, if they're not putting Dylan in witness protection or Bethany in witness protection, I don't understand why they would do that to Brent Kopacka. You get what I'm saying, Blue?
Yeah. I think, I think he passed and may he rest in peace. We don't want to bring any extra attention to his name since he's already passed.
Right. And hey, Dr. Thrifty, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining on. Yes, I do. I do have a background in law enforcement. No longer. It's been a long time. Me in law enforcement was the last time I was in uniform was December 7th, 2012. So it's been over 10 years, dude. It's been over a decade. Where does the time go? Phone calls are on. We'll probably be doing this for another 15, 20 minutes tops, y'all. I want to say thank you to all 1,642 of you guys in the live chat. Again, if you guys haven't, or guys aren't aware, we did create a new channel. It's called the Drunk Turkey Clips. It's just basically clips of our live shows, the important parts or the most fascinating parts of the show. About 10-15 minutes will come out on that podcast just to bring more awareness. If you guys would do us a favor and hit the subscribe button on that channel, link is in the description. And also here, if you don't mind, if you're not already subscribed, I encourage you to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, get the algorithm going. We appreciate it. 100%, Erica. Hit that like button. Also subscribe. 100% free, y'all. And the do not disturb is off. We'll be taking a couple more calls here. If you guys want to call in. This case here, the Idaho murders case, is definitely one where Do you think that maybe perhaps there's too much information out there, Blue? And that's why there's so much speculation that a lot of information has been put out there to allow people to connect dots that maybe we shouldn't be connecting? What do you think?
I think there is a lot of information out there, but I guess to connect the dots, they need the right information that people would like. There's a lot of people questioning, making their theories.
Right.
I think there's a lot of extra information we probably didn't need.
Right. Let's answer this call. Hello. You're on live on the air. Can you hear me? Hello? I hear someone, but nobody's answering. All right, here it goes. You call. Hello, you're live on the Drunk Turkey Show. Who are we speaking with? Hello? All right. I also saw my other line coming through. Remember, guys, we got a new phone number. It is 726-842-0812. The old one works, but this way we can get it's a little bit easier for me to answer these calls here. We had a call come in, but they hung up. Give us a call again. And Gail comes in with a $10 super chat with like this video. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Let's see. Somebody goes, that burrito somebody ordered. So, all right, let's answer this.
Call from.
Yes, Tracy. Thank you.
Hello, welcome to the Drunk Turkey Show. You're live on air. Who are we speaking with?
Tracy, thank you.
Hey, Tracy, how's it going?
Going great. Thank you guys for taking my call. I just have a couple of questions for you. I don't understand why. Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear
Oh,
you.
okay. Sorry about that. I'm on my phone, so not my computer. I just don't understand why the what's his name, Payne, chose to expose who Dylan is to the world. Why not just put witness 1 or witness 2 for Bethany, but yet they refuse to say who the 911 caller is, and they also will not say who the DoorDash guy is or what type of car he was driving. So I kind of think the DoorDash guy might be the informant or some information associated with the DoorDash guy, because that part is kind of concerning that they didn't have to put those girls' names into that PCA. They just didn't have to do that. And I think they may have done it to get them between a rock and a hard place for some reason. But I just don't understand why they didn't try to protect the girls, because really people really didn't know that the girls were there until they actually confirmed it by really putting their names in the PCA. Like before that, it was just kind of speculation all over the place, right, about where those two girls were.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Another thing, I just don't think Ian is involved for some reason. And I mean, my gut doesn't tell me that. I just think he's kind of like a gypsy person anyway. I think he just moves around a lot. He just seems like that type of person to me, trying to find work or whatever. He's probably lost his job, you know. Yeah. But anyway, and then I also have some concerns about Payne seeing the sheath, and then in the search warrant for Bryan's apartment, I think Blake and Smith kind of made it clear that they didn't see a sheath. I mean, it seems to suggest that to me. And then the third point, so that's why I think something big is going on in that area. I think most people are gut instincts are pretty much like that, because it seems like the police officers are conflicting themselves, right? So in terms of who saw the sheath, who saw it first, and it just doesn't make any sense. You have 3 guys at the same door. One see a sheath and the other 2 do not when they're doing their tour. And then the last thing is, I tried to find information on Kopaka. And I do know that, I was able to find a lot of the street cams
And the traffic cams in Moscow, they have a lot of those.
Right.
Yeah. So, and they also have the photo cams too that, kind of takes a picture of your license plate when you are speeding, those type of things too. So, yeah, I think that's kind of the gist of it. But I think, and also, people always talk about where Xana and Maddie work, but where did Kaylee work? Because a Range Rover, what is that car she had? That's a very expensive ride, so where did Kaylee work? Why nobody is looking into that? So I'm just curious about those three things.
Right. She worked at she was an intern. I think it was can't remember the name. I had it before, but she was given a full-time job. The Range Rover that she had was a 2016 Rogue Sport, which is probably about $25,000. So she probably get that for I wouldn't be surprised if somebody would give, somebody of her age and job experience, $25,000 loan for a vehicle. Sorority, being a part of a sorority comes with a lot of money that you have to pay for that. And so I also don't think she came from a family that didn't have the means to buy her that vehicle or at least support or help her with that. And so the vehicle doesn't surprise me. Her job doesn't either, or what they were doing. A lot of the folks that were part of the fraternities and the sororities, I think that's an added like $3,800, $4,200 added per semester to what you have to pay to your tuition, and just to be a part of of that. And so typically those that are members of those clubs are well off. And so, the car doesn't throw bells to me or ring bells, but you have a lot of great points that you've come up with. Thank you so much for calling in.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I was just, the DoorDash, trying to protect the DoorDash, because the guy that dropped him off that night, he kind of came forward and gave a statement to one of the news outlets. But the DoorDash guy seems to be not coming forward, or maybe they're telling him not to come forward. And then the 911 caller, I just don't understand protecting that person and then exposing Dylan and Bethany. But anyway, I appreciate your call, and you great guys. Really appreciate your professionalism and, when you handle your show. Thank you so much for your contribution.
Thank you. You have a great night. We'll talk about your comments here in a sec. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So the first thing I want to talk about is the probable cause affidavit. The probable cause affidavit typically does have the names. It wouldn't come out to the officer that's writing the probable cause affidavit to redact the names out of it. That would fall under probably the department's liaison or administration department. Those are the guys and gals that go out there and redact things and take names out. I was very surprised that they redacted them and then replaced the names with initials. That seemed very weird to me. But you're right, as far as the DoorDash guy not coming forward, or nobody knows who that guy is. Him not coming forward, though, might be a result of us. Be honest with you. He may not want to come forward because of, everybody else that's come forward has been under heavy scrutiny, lights on there by content creators and true crime watchers that are going in there and speculating whether or not this person could be a guy that committed the crime. I mean, there was even the attorney that was that lived in front of them, right? That talked about seeing them every now and then, spoke to a couple of news stations, made a couple of appearances. Everybody thought that he was acting kind of odd or funny, and automatically we're like, maybe this guy's involved. You know what I'm saying? So that might be a reason why somebody may not want to come forward at this point. But to throw those two young ladies under the bus by putting their information out there, which was done purposely because somebody wrote in those initials, right? It wasn't like those initials just popped out of nowhere. And so, do you think that by putting out their names, maybe perhaps that was a tactic to get them to come forward with more information? What do you think, Blue?
No, I don't know. I think it was more like they were probably getting calls after calls after calls, wondering if there were any more information. So they probably just said, you know what, we're going to give them as much information as we can without stepping over a certain limit.
Right.
That's what I think.
No, I agree. And so it's with Ian and Harsh too, and I've looked at this case quite a bit and taken in consideration of what I know about law enforcement and rules in that area. In my opinion, Ian and Harsh is probably not involved because, like I mentioned before, he wouldn't be coming out on any media if he was the informant. They would have stopped him from doing that, and if he was an accomplice, I think he'd be behind bars at this point. And so, I feel that if there was an accomplice, then he's not yet been apprehended, and if there was an informant, then we probably don't know about that person, or that person is no longer with us for one reason or another. And I'll leave it at that. What do you think, Blue? Is your mute button taking forever to unmute?
Yeah, it's messing up a little bit. It's my phone.
Yeah.
I think my internet's kicking back in. So,
got you. Yeah, well, we'll probably only take about
so
one.
It broke
more.
up a little bit. We were saying, what was the question one more time?
I'll be honest with you, I don't even remember, man.
Okay.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the phone lines. We'll probably take one more call before we get out of here. The do not disturb is off, so phone calls can come in. But yeah, Ian Harsh, I think he did just want his few minutes of fame there. I don't think it was a situation where he was. I don't think he was involved. I mean, even the fact that I found it weird though that he came out and said that, I think it was his Facebook post that said that, you don't hear anything, nobody hears anything before people gone, and nobody hears anything. And then later on, he comes back when he's interviewed saying that he heard a scream around 4 a.m. You know what I mean? I thought that was really, really eerily weird. I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's see. Do panelists think it's cartel related? Do you think that there's a possibility that this situation could be cartel related? Well,
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Normally they would leave a notice. You know what I mean? Like, hey.
Call from.
Or they do things a certain way.
Yeah.
To
Welcome.
accept, press 1. To send a voicemail.
Let's answer this one real quick. Hey, welcome to the Drunk Turkey Show. This is Daniel. Who we talking to?
I don't know, man. Leah.
Hi, Leah. How's it going?
It's going good. How's it going with you? Here, let me turn the TV down.
Sounds good. So what are your thoughts and theories on the case?
Okay, I want to talk about something, and when I try to talk about it, nobody kind of catches on, and I don't know. At first I saw a picture of Xana holding a watermelon and a blonde girl holding up a long black machete. And I wondered, look at this weapon right here, right in front of us. And then I read somewhere people were thinking it was Photoshopped. And right when I read that, I saw it was a video, and Xana was getting ready to throw the watermelon up for the blonde girl to cut it with the machete. So I'm thinking, okay, here we are witnessing the frat and sorority with a weapon. Okay, and then I see videos of Jack D balancing this like a skateboard on his chin, and then a long-handled axe on his chin. So there's an axe. And I'm thinking, this is another weapon. And when we hear about their injuries, how they were basically cut up and mutilated, I don't know. You know, and in the picture with Xana, or the video with Xana throwing up the watermelon, Hunter Johnson is right there beside her. The address is on the house. It's 3 1s and a 2. I don't know how close it is to the girl's house. And it's on a porch. To me, it looks like the one that has the Ring camera. That, you know, if you look at it real good. And I just really think there's fraternity involvement and secret societies. Fraternities are linked with secret societies, and that's where you have your hush-hush. That's where you have your cover-ups. I don't know any motives. I'm just saying that seeing these weapons on video, and both of them were videos, the axe and the machete. And I'm just, you know, that's what I was thinking. That's all I have. I just wanted to talk about the weapons.
If you can do me a favor, I haven't seen this video. If you find it, if you could email it to us, or if anybody doesn't know where that video is at, if you can email it to us.
I have it on my phone.
Yeah, if you can email it to me
I'll email it to anybody.
Yes, if you could email it to me at a drunkturkeyshow@gmail.com, I'd appreciate that.
Okay.
I'd like to see it.
Okay, good. I sure will.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you for your call as well. We appreciate you and your phone call.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
And I love your show.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, bye.
Yeah,
And that's going to do it for our phone calls for the night, y'all. I hope I can get that video in. I'm going to see if I can find it really quickly. Have you seen this video, Blue?
No, I haven't seen it.
Let me see. Yeah, there's supposedly an axe and a machete. Let's see. Hopefully something will come through. Oh man, Blue disappeared. I was looking off to the side. I guess he got knocked out yet again. Oh, there he comes back in. I see him. There you are, Blue.
Yeah, I was trying to look at the comments, and when I tried to hit back, it threw me out of the stream, like instead of hitting the X. I'm not used to being on my phone again.
Yeah, no biggie, man. I understand. Jack Axe video. Let's see if that's what it's titled. Oh, there's a lot of videos titled that. Let me just see if anybody emailed it to me yet. But great callers tonight. I appreciate everybody in the live chat. I appreciate everybody emailing it now. Awesome. That way we can watch it while we're live on the show. Thank you so much, Leah Story. We appreciate you. Let's see.
Yeah, if you're not a subscriber, subscribe. You know, we're trying to get to that next benchmark that we're trying to reach, and we're kind of stuck for a little bit. So,
yeah, we've been
to the show. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe. We're trying to get there.
Let's see. I got one email and not the video. Voicemails. Oh, persons being threatened are identified in the police scanner of the incident. And this is referencing the Kopaka situation. I'm going to look into this. Thank you so much. You know who you are. You just emailed me this information referencing the police scanners from the Brett Kopaka situation. I'm going to go through that. We'll listen to it, and then we'll bring it up again. We'll bring it up. Let's see. But that's good information to have. Definitely so. I'm gonna check this one more time.
Yeah.
Nothing yet. Let me check my spam real quick. Nah, no spam. All right. Well, we'll chill out here for a few minutes and then we'll call it a show, man. Tomorrow, don't forget, y'all, we're gonna be we're gonna have It's a Crime and Shame, and it's gonna be at about 1 o'clock, 1:15 Central Time. So that's gonna be 2 o'clock on the East Coast. That's gonna be 11 o'clock on the West Coast. If you're in the UK, that'll be about 7 o'clock in the evening. So we're going to be talking Nicola Bulley. Apparently, there's a lot more information coming forward, or a lot more speculation coming forward about the case, that maybe perhaps it wasn't an accident. We're going to talk to Sunny Justice. We're going to get her insight on it. She's been covering the case a lot more in detail than we have, and we're going to go over that. Look forward to that. We're also going to have a video come out tomorrow evening, reference Dylan Rounds in that case. There's been a person charged with his murder here recently, and we're going to catch everybody up. We're going to do a recap. We're going to talk about it from start to finish, the highlights of that case. So that way, if you're go ahead, Blue.
I said we're also got an evening show. I said we also got the evening show with the opinionated idiot.
That's true.
We'll be on his show.
That is true. We are also coming out on the Opinionated Idiot channel Thursday night. If you go check out the community post, we've shared it. We'll be out there tomorrow night there as well. Packed day tomorrow, man. A lot of shows to do, but that's what it's all about. Also, one of our good friends who's a film producer and director has reached out to us. Just a little bit of exciting news. You might be seeing myself, Jaime, and Big Blue here on the bigger screen sooner than later, hopefully, if everything works out. Let's see. I think we said we got the image here. All right, let me move this to this side real quick. All right, and let me share the video. So this is the picture here. Let me just save it real quick. That way I can zoom in on it. All right, there we go. So apparently that's Madison. Xana, I'm sorry. And that is Madison with a large weapon there, attempting to cut a watermelon. Ninja fruit style. Not sure who that guy is or that guy. But this does look like the house. Let's see. It's going in this way. Where is Google Earth? All right.
We haven't asked anybody about their opinion about them tearing it down. About what the house.
What's your opinion on it?
I think it's they're gonna build like a little memorial for him. That's fine, because I think there's gonna be way too many people like trying to sneak into the house and look through it if somebody else rents it out, or it's gonna be so much controversy. They might as well just like dole down the controversy and just turn into something nice.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. So if the person that owns the property wants to do that, that's their prerogative, and that's what it is. That doesn't look like Hunter right here. If anything, that kind of looks like Adam Lauda, the bartender from the Corner Club. He's a bigger guy too, about 6'4", 6'5", That kind of looks like his face there. This little guy, I don't know who that is. So I don't think it's this house because the wood planks are going up and down. This ones are horizontal. This is light gray. It's not that one because that one is like, looks like logs. I'm not sure. It almost looks like.
Probably one of the sorority houses.
Yeah, it could be a number of houses, but I'm not sure where it's at. It's definitely not these houses here. I don't think it's these houses, unless it's from the back of that house. But I thought it was like this all the way through, like this log type of exterior. I don't know. Let me see one more thing. Let me see if I can find if somebody sent me the video. Yeah, here it is. And I have somebody else says, go ahead and read my email. Norma, I got an email from you. It says, please read my email. It's a blank email. All right. Give me a sec.
Xana. I can't play the audio because they're playing, music that you can't play on YouTube. Just people having fun. I'm going to be honest with you. It looks like Xana's lit up most of the time. So I'm going to be honest there. Not that I'm judgmental at all. This is probably one of the saddest ones. This is one of Xana's friends. Remember, Xana was 20. And I don't know why I only have Xana. That's all there was. I don't know. There'll be a link to all this in the show notes after the show for sure. I want to know what happened to the watermelon. When I look at these videos, what I think is Kohberger shouldn't even be a name that anybody
That's the end of that clip. I didn't see the actual watermelon. Let's see. Back.
They showed a little glimpse of it. Yeah, but they didn't show them throwing it and cutting it in half or anything.
Yeah, but it is and it's just kids being kids, man. Young people being young people. I don't think it has anything to do with the case, to be honest with you. It is what it is. But email me that, y'all.
The highlight of the year, you know what I mean?
Huh? What was that, Blue?
I said they're just showing highlights of their year. You know what they did for fun. I do that too on TikTok. So.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. It's just such a sad situation. I mean, just watching, her and just being a human being. You know what I'm saying? Being a young adult it's heartbreaking. But that's gonna do it for us tonight, y'all. We're about almost 2 hours into it. We'll be back tomorrow again during the day, about 1 o'clock Central Time, and then we'll be on the Opinionated Idiot channel tomorrow night. Don't want to miss it. Hit that like and subscribe button. You got any last words, Big Blue?
Just want to everybody have a good night. Y'all be safe out there if y'all drinking. And remember, mental health is a big issue in the States. If you have any concerns, there's always people out there that want to listen.
For sure. Thank you guys so much. Y'all have a great night. Peace out.
It's the Drunk Turkey Show.